Just listen to this one.
You know what Glen Lall say? If Jagdeo only been signed and put ring fencing for Lisa 1 and Lisa 2, starting from 2023, all of it, when I collect $5 million every year. You understand me tell you that? All of it when I collect $5 million every year. All of it when I come rich by. But I'm man one thing. Well, let me tell you, when this work is done, all who go dead from this work, right, the name of other in textbook and thing. And I will make posts and put them up in Island Village where for them do them get dead, the father can dead, so that the future generation all of the train and grandchildren, because they who been a fight for the change of the contract for make this country rich. Because when Glen Lall gonna win in 2025, he gonna give this money. $1 million every month. You understand? That's $12 million a year. So whoever father can dead, right, then will go up and about change of Island public place name. I will put somebody where, somebody about rename the place and then the people them were dead. So I'll go teach in school. I'll go in a fight for change of the contract and then dead.
No, there's a short just to complete this.
Yeah, right. So if anybody fall can dead and I keep fast and work now, right? That goes a strong message for Jagdeo change the contract. You understand? And you have to start from Kaieteur or something. Then I get paid for work, so I got to work, and if they don't want work, then go fire from Glen Lall. You understand?
So, obviously, the intention here... Yes,
that's very shocking. I never heard that sort of thing before.
Worrying, because this individual would have been implanted with an idea or an intention to create martyrs. Because if we're going to walk, if we're going to have a walk, you have the right to protest in this country. People are always protesting in this country for all kinds of different reasons. But Glen Lall seems bent and intent on creating some kind of a disaster that is going to initiate something in this country. And it comes out in the papers. The photographs, I've met a few people that Glen Lall have been photographing, protesting, having placards, and I've met them and I've asked them and they have told me that they have received money to do. I said, why you do it? Do you have an understanding of what's going on? And we have recordings and we're doing a compilation of these different individuals to come forward and do an exclusive interview with them. The intention from what we're hearing on this recording is obviously deliberate and malicious. Will the PPP stance remain one that just answers the question, or will your administration make a special effort really to protect the people? This is dangerous. These people are willing to kill people to get what they want. It happened in the past. It happened with the crummy E-wings, and you see things happen close to election time, and it's worrying as to what Glen Lall's motive and people such as himself, their motives are. And is the PPP intention just to be answering to these malicious, the information is being put out there, or addressing it frontally in some other way?
So first of all, we have to be aware, I think, more about the whisper campaigns. I think we have spent a lot of time working to restore this country to viability after the disaster of the 5 years. Getting more people jobs. You just saw the IDB report. Today I met with the IMF. Massive numbers of people employed since the days that they were losing jobs in droves, not just sugar workers, but every sector now. Probably in excess of 60,000 people more who are now working at that time.
A positive that is not adequately reflected in the media.
Reflected. Part-time workers, more in mining, more in construction. 20,000 people are in construction. That never used to happen. We've done that. We have put together in 3 years the entire framework that we promised to manage the oil and gas industry better. And it required a lot of work. Reform of the Natural Resources Fund. We have put in place a local content law that they refused to put in place. 400 million US of business to 1,500 firms already we got. We just, new PSA, new Petroleum Act. We now auction, we're closing an auction. We have reformed almost every one of the licenses we have issued to strengthen the environmental conditions, the safety conditions, getting more data. That was done to have a better management of the industry. We came in, we earned already from the forestry sector $750 million a contract. Amerindians have gotten more money in 1 year from that, and they only got 15% of it than they had in 5 years in APNU, leaving out the government-funded programs. I can go on. We put together 12 new hospitals that are starting now. In just 3 years, the bridge, nearly 150 kilometers of 4-lane roads we're starting. We're repaving all the bridges that are going to let him. I can give you, we're now doing 10 new schools this year. We've been busy doing this sort of thing whilst another group of people have been busy trying to cover up their own records of mismanagement, and another group misleading people deliberately, like the Glen Lalls, because they have an agenda. So we are a bit deficient in that sometimes we don't answer things enough, like this recording. I know they have a whisper campaign, but I didn't know the depth of the depravity, the depth of the nastiness that they will go to mislead people. Now clearly it's Glen Lall and a little cabal that wants to form a political party. So you heard, they're already telling this guy, a political party. That's one. When Glen Lall wins in 2025. So he's claiming, no, he's a reporter, he wants to expose government, and he wants to change the oil contract. But he wants to form a party. He told this guy this. Too healthy misleading. So I just listened. This man said, I did not ring fence Liza 1 and Liza 2. Jagdeo didn't ring fence those. And if I had ring fenced it, everybody would have been rich. They would all be rich. Now the fact is that we didn't issue the license for Liza 1 or Liza 2. They were issued when we're in opposition. And the contract with Exxon, the new production contract, was done by APNU. So now people think Jagdeo did not ring fence these two, prevented them from getting rich. Then he goes on to say, when Glen Lall wins, they'll get $1 million a month, 12 million a year. Imagine every person, that's more than, it's about 50 times more than the money we are collecting now. But he promised them $1 million a month, 12 million a year. That's 12 million, 60,000 US. A year you would get that, every Guyanese. You can't get that from working in the US, much less the government giving you that. And the US is the biggest economy in the world, the richest. But this clown believes it and would mislead other people into believing this. And it's a part of a careful design. And then he goes on. You hear what he said about the Kaieteur News staff. The guy said that Kaieteur News staff are paid to protest, walk. And if they don't come out, they'll be fired. So that's a political entity. That ceases to be a newspaper. It's now a political entity. So a lot of these things about people dropping down, their names will be in textbooks.
Intention is to create martyrs.
Martyrs, but there's a set of clowns, you know. So it sounds foolish. Nobody with sense would believe this guy. But a lot of people, he goes, if they whisper it enough in the villages and around the country, and they pay some people to do that, then people might be seduced by it to believe that only Glen Lall is fighting for the country. But the fact is that this guy is not fighting for anything. He doesn't even understand ring fencing. Glen Lall doesn't understand it, much less this poor, misguided soul. So it is something that we have to tackle more aggressively, because every day this guy, for me, I look at the daily programs like this TikTok and I say, nobody would believe this. It's so stupid. But then I hear people repeating it. And then they say, oh, we ain't got no money from the oil and gas sector too. It's because he's saying to them, oh, you haven't got anything from the oil and gas sector. Jagdeo didn't give you anything extra, walking away with all the money. So for 3-4 days running, the man says, Jagdeo told the two shows that their pensions will go up by $7,000. That's all they'll get. And that the school children will get $10,000. But what I said is that to the two shows, since we got in, we promised before we got into office to double old age pension in the 5 years and to restore the children grant and increase it to $50,000 per child per year. We're already at $40,000, and so they will get another $10,000 before 2025. By 2025, the $50,000 per child will be over $10 billion per year. That is what they will get that they were not getting on the APNU, and their families will get. He says, oh, Jagdeo said,
add on 10,000 a year.
Yes, so that we already did 40, but he's saying to them, he said to the pensioners, only 7,000 you will get. But they already got from 2020 13,000 increase. So which part of the world in 5 years you double old age pension? And know how much that will cost? Just the increase by moving it from 20 to 40,000 a month, $20 billion. The two alone will be $30 billion going to our school children and to the pensioners. And that's over nearly 300,000 people, because we have 200 and something thousand children and about 74,000 pensioners. And those on public assistance too will get an increase. So he just says that. Misleading people for days. Jagdeo says 7,000 is all you'll get from oil money. So as a bunch of lies misrepresenting what we actually say to people. And this goes on incessantly every single day in the newspapers.